Hi, this is Mats, and welcome to another webcast. Today I want to show you how you can integrate Ext Gantt with ASP.NET. For my example, I'm using MVC, the second edition, and I'm also using Link to do the database communication. The data is just stored in an example database. Here, as you can see, it's a SQL Express database with two tables, one for dependencies, one for tasks. The model that corresponds to this is very simple. It's just a task class and a dependency class. So it's a very simple setup. And as you know, you have the controls folder and the models folder and the views folder. And that's all standard. We have some JS files, and that's pretty much it. And if we start to look at what we have here, the component that encapsulates all the Gantt behavior and functionality is called the Tree Gantt panel. And if we head over to the docs, you can see that there's a class called Tree Gantt panel here. It has some comments and some sample code here. And one of the important things to note about this class is that it's partially based on the Maxim tree grid, which is a third-party user extension. And if you're interested to learn more about this plugin, you can check it out in the Ext forum thread if you search for Maxim tree grid. It's made by this guy here, Maxim GB, and the plugin is really cool. So back at the docs, the key thing to know that since the Tree Gantt panel is based on the Maxim tree grid, it uses a special kind of store. So if we check out the config options, you can see here that the type for the store is an abstract tree store. And if we go to the definition for this, you can see based on the name that it's an abstract class that has two subclasses. And for this example, I'm using an adjacency list store. And if you want to know more about the theory of the adjacency list store, there's a link here that you can click, which takes you to a MySQL developer page that has a lot of details on the theory about this model and also about the nested set store. So let's see here. The brief information you have here is that for each record you have to specify the ID of its parent, or null if it's the top row. And further, you also have to indicate if the record is a leaf or not. So let's check out the definition for this in my example. You can see here I'm constructing a new adjacency list store. I'm setting up a JSON writer. I'm using autosave false, and that means that when I modify the tasks in this example, you won't see any requests automatically done by the store. You see there's nothing going on here in Firebug, but when I hit save, you can see it's sending all the modifications made in one request, bundling them together, which is kind of neat. So I have my API set up here, which has the read, destroy, and update methods, and these paths, of course, correspond to my controller methods. So if we open up the tasks controller file, you can see here that we have the get, the update, and also the delete. So that's that. And moving along here, we have the dependency store, which loads all the dependencies. And to save AJAX requests, I'm populating it using the same AJAX request that's used to load the regular task store. So that's why you only see create and destroy here, because it's being loaded here, as you can see by the data that's returned from the task store after being loaded. And that's pretty much it. Here's the Tree Gantt panel constructor. Some basic properties. I've chose to include a priority field that's not built into the Gantt panel. As you can see here, there's a priority field here, and also I've styled the tasks slightly different based on the priority. So if I click here and go to low, you can see it's a different color. I can go to high, etc. And so it's very easy to extend and to tweak it to get the behavior you want. And this is just the columns that are available, and these you have to define yourself along with the editor if you want the fields to be editable. So it's pretty straightforward. And that's about it for the definition. So playing around with the example, you can see here that as I said before, there's nothing being done until I hit the save button, and I can also reject any changes done since the last save. So let's make some changes here. Now it should make a request, and if we check out the post, you'll see that it's posting an array of the data corresponding to those items that I modified. So it's pretty easy. And then another thing to note is that for this example right now we're preloading all the data into the tree at once, so there's no extra request being made here, which works of course if you have a small set of nodes. But what if you have a huge tree of hundreds or thousands of nodes? Then you probably don't want to preload them all at once. So I've prepared a second variant of this demo. So when I use the load on demand flag, you can see here in the API that we're loading a different, we're calling a different controller action. So get node children just accepts the ID of one node and then grabs all its immediate children only. So if we wait a little while and make this reload. So now you can see, if we check out what's being returned, we're seeing 6 rows and we're seeing 6 records. So it only loaded what was necessary to show this. And then when I click there, you can see it's just grabbing things on demand as you would expect. Oops, sorry. There we go. And then of course you have the collapse all and expand all buttons. You can also interact with the chart by double-clicking these time headers and change the resolution and set the different spans if you want. And there's a zoom to fit button that tries to fit all the tasks in your store in one view. It's also pretty handy. And here's a today line showing the current time, and it's also updated to keep track of the current time if you leave your desk. And this can of course be configured to be turned off or however you want it. And that's pretty much it. I've wrapped up this example and put it in a zip file in the forums. So if you go here to our forum, you'll see that there's a downloadable link here. So if you want, go give it a try, and we would be glad to hear what you think about it, and if you have any feature suggestions or if you find any bugs, please let us know. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.